everyone, welcome to this very special broadcast as the Indian of the Year Awards return. News television's most revered award shows, and that gives you a chance to celebrate the visionaries and icons making India proud.
From trailblazing business leaders to inspiring youth icons, entertainers, sports legends and change makers, these incredible individuals have left their mark, inspiring millions worldwide.
And you also have a chance to show your support by voting for your favorite Indian at www.indianoftheyear.com.
Absolutely. Together, let's honor India's pride, the world's inspiration at CNN News 18 Indian of the Year 2024.
Now today we are particularly discussing the nominees in the field of business, the head honchos and the founders to some of the most promising startups to young dynamic leaders taking on important roles at some of the country's most respectable business enterprises.
So without any wait, let's quickly go across to our nominees in this very interesting category. Our first nominee in the business category for the Indian of the Year 2024 is Dipinder Goyal, a self-made entrepreneur who's revolutionized India's food delivery with Zomato. He's taken it a notch up by acquiring the successful quick commerce platform Blinkit. He also became a billionaire after Zomato shares surged over 300% since July 2023.
And next up, we have another promising individual, Bhavish Agarwal from Ola Cabs. Now, remember, he made waves by taking on one of the country's leading radio taxi services, that is Uber, with his very own Ola Cabs. And later, he ventured into electric mobility solutions with Ola electric scooters. Now, he's challenging big tech with his new venture, Krutrum, aiming to make India a global AI powerhouse.
On to our next category. On to our next nominee in this important category, Rajiv Bajaj from Bajaj Auto. He's the managing director of Bajaj Auto. Under his leadership, Bajaj Auto's growth has skyrocketed to new heights. Their financials reflected strong performance with revenue growing by 15.7%, driven by robust vehicle sales and also record spares revenue.
And next up, we have Team HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Now, this company was conferred the Outstanding PSU of the Year award by All India Management Association of the Year. Now, do remember that the company recorded the highest ever revenue from operations, registering double-digit growth of around 11% in the financial year 2024.
And our last nominee for this category is Dr. Sangeeta Reddy from Apollo Hospitals. She has been leading the healthcare business from the front. It's under her leadership that drone tech, blockchain, AI, data analytics have all been integrated at Apollo Hospitals. She also, in fact, leads several initiatives that have taken healthcare to rural pockets and made it easily accessible at home.
All right, let me now welcome our guests on the broadcast on this very special edition where we discuss the nominees in the business category. We are now joined in by Mr. Sunil Alag, who's the chairman of, AKA Advisor. Also with us is Harish Bijur, business and brand strategy expert.
We're also being joined by Aditi Srivastava, founder of Pocket Aces, along with Himani Chaudhary, who's an influencer and a finance educator.
So, Himani, let me begin with you. I mean, you have had a look at the nominee list. What do you have to say? Which is your favorite person as far as this particular category is concerned? Who do you think, takes away the cake?
So I'm really excited for this category, okay? And I already have my favorite. For this category, I was thinking like who can be the winner from my point of view. And I think it should be someone who has made some impact, has made innovation, and also has the scalability and sustainability factor for the business so that it can go on for a long period of time. And till now, like my favorite is Dipinder Goyal. And I'll tell you my reasons for it, okay? Like people think that he has made a food delivery business, which is it's a misconception because he has made a logistics business. Before his IPO, Zomato was a loss-making company. And after the IPO came, everybody was so interested to get the IPO because 2021 to 2023, this period, like everybody wanted to be financially literate and they knew about stock market and they wanted to earn money. So they thought like Zomato will be the perfect startup because they think that only through private equity, you can invest in startups and then you cannot get those returns that you get in startups. So I think that was the perfect perfect opportunity for people, retail people or common people like us to invest. But what was the consequence? We didn't know. We thought this is a loss-making company. What is the best that they can do? Become a profitable company in the food delivery business. But what he did, he actually bought Blinkit. Blinkit was a loss-making company, and at that point of time, he faced a lot of criticism from the critics saying that why did he buy a loss-making company? Some relations with his wife or something. But that was absolutely wrong. At this point of time, Blinkit is also profitable. Zomato is also profitable, and Blinkit is growing more than Zomato. And I seriously believe that he should be the winner of this category with respect to all these 3 points.
Okay. Himani has a clear pick already. Mr.
Yeah.
Bijur, I want to put the same question to you.
Since a bit has been spoken about DP, let me talk about Bhavish, because let's not let one individual monopolize the list. Bhavish is again a character who has put together an attitude to a space, from one space to another, the jump out value from one space to another, getting E in the kind of manner in which they have, getting the kind of investments that they've gotten into the brand, toying with new ideas and new thoughts. If you go to a plant which has got 100% women actually making stuff, you will say that, hey, this is the gender equalized company. And to an extent, it is a very correctionist oriented company when it comes to gender. And look at the plan, look at the future, a very aggressive space, in a space where every competitor is waiting to pull you down like mad. One scooter firing up and one battery burning up burns the image of Bhavish, every moment. In this space, the guy has stood firm, stood tall. Hats off to you, Bhavish.
Absolutely. And Aditi, would you want to add in your 2 bits to this exact same point that's been made on Bhavish specifically? Because many called it a really brave decision while Uber was already there in the market to come up with an Ola.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a brave decision. And if you see what's going on in China as well, right? They also launched their local competitor to Uber and then eventually ended up merging with Uber. So the fact that Ola is still independent and, very head on head competing with Uber in India, I think that's very admirable. But of course, that has been something that he has done over a period of time and grown it. I think this year specifically, their EV scooters were in the limelight. But in the entire list, the exciting entity for me is the Aeronautical Limited, Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. I think it's not very often that public sector companies get acknowledged at these kind of events and at this level. If you look at HAL, it actually shows you that India can innovate. India can compete at a world level at the highest for the highest contracts, right? They have a 1 billion contract with Boeing. They have contracts with several countries like Malaysia, etc. And it's shows that we are more than just a service economy. So I think that's what excites me a lot about HAL. I feel young people today don't acknowledge that public sector companies can actually innovate and operate at this scale. So for me, I think that would be the non-expected, it's a non-expected nominee. I was very happy to see them, and I would think it would be a non-expected winner.
Okay, great. Mr. Alag, if I can take that forward, because Aditi very rightly spoke of one aspect that perhaps to an extent each of them speak volumes for, which is self-reliance. Do you think that's had a key role to play?
No, for me, all 5 should make the list, as Harish has said. But if I was to pick one, I mean, you're forcing us to pick one. I would pick Rajiv Bajaj because he has gone from scooters to motorcycles to the largest exporter all over the world. It's recorded as number 1 on the motorbike scene. He's achieved a lot of business, and therefore starting off from where his father has left on just plain scooters and then going on to motorcycles and everything else. If you go to his factory, you will see it all. And then to become the largest exporter in India of his motorcycles. Not any company that has come up anywhere near him in terms of profits. It's the number 1 brand of motorcycles. So I would pick Rajiv Bajaj any day.
So, Himani, I'd like to understand from you, since your pick was Dipinder Goyal, the fact that we've had people who have been change makers on this particular nominee list, people who have really been the faces behind these very, very successful startups. And then you have the usual players like a Apollo Hospital, like a Bajaj Autos. When it is about in fact, choosing between the two, whether it is the classic business houses, established players, or the startups, who do you think, as far as 2024 is concerned, which way will this head?
I think the future is innovation. I will always pick the starting from the scratch, organic, new ideas that is actually representing India on a global scale as well. Having said that, these classical businesses are so great because of a reason, right? Because let's say HAL is now working towards defense manufacturing. That is good for India. And if we also talk about Bajaj, even though it was a big company before as well, if they start being very active with the EV segment, I think we will have giants in the EV sector. And also the issues with respect to the production of batteries and the infrastructure of EVs, it can be created into an environment where India will shift towards an energy efficient country. And I think we need both of them.
I want to take that to Aditi as well. Aditi, technology is something that I think every newcomer, be it somebody who's starting a new firm, somebody who's keeping up with whatever past, expectations have been set already by their family business, they've really had to put technology to its best use. Who do you think amongst all of these people has been able to do justice to digital acumen being justified for their business plans?
I mean, again, that's a really tough choice. I think all of these guys are using technology in various different ways. For example, what Dr. Sangeeta Reddy is doing with AI and blockchain and IoT in healthcare, that stuff is the backbone of the expansion we need for healthcare in this country, right? So I think that's the technology innovation that very few of us, kind of see on an everyday basis or, kind of understand even. So using these forward-looking technologies to expand accessibility and quality of healthcare in grassroots of our country, I mean, that is very, very much required. And we saw that the biggest CTO for most companies was COVID-19, right, where most companies kind of went into a much more tech savvy mode of working. And everything from innovation in healthcare to how healthcare will reach people, everything is tech driven. So I think we have to acknowledge how people like Dr. Reddy are leading, that innovation in some of these tougher fields as well.
And Harish, would you agree to these newer avenues that need to be touched upon as far as the healthcare sector is concerned, which Dr. Sangeeta Reddy has been very ably a part of, and that is why she is making it to the nominee list as far as Indian of the Year business category is concerned, and that is what makes it all the more important for us to look at. Do you think she is, and she should not be fair game when it is about these many people who have been nominated, and she has been doing the required amount of work that's needed to be done as far as healthcare is concerned, especially post-COVID-19, like Aditi mentioned?
Sangeeta is very, very able normally on this list. I say that because, she brings the heritage of a 41-year-old Apollo Hospitals group. And that's very important. And in a space where it is difficult to survive, they've attained scale. And the kind of scale that they talk about is quite humongous. The kind of monies that they make on a per bed deployed basis, they're excellent. So I think their business model is well tested. They have a very coveted heritage, literally, being the first in a lot of spaces. If you really go to their website, you'll see literally every year there's a first in this, first in that. And I think they're at the cutting edge and bleeding edge of success. But success is not only about the kind of size you build, it's all about the kind of profits that you build. It's the kind of insulation you build into the future. And I think the group has done that. And Sangeeta is an apt representative of that group. So Apollo, I think certainly at the front of it, great stuff. And the second thing is Sangeeta is in a space which is so helpful, on a lighter vein to all these other guys. except for HL, which is an inanimate and which can't have ulcers. Take it from me. Each of these people on the list, all of them have ulcers. I don't know about Sangeeta, but the point is she's well looked after with Apollo. But the point is, fire in the belly, that's what each one of them has. In addition to that, I think health is a great thing to cater to.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank all my guests for joining us on this very important discussion. We're looking forward to the main award show on the 17th of January next year at Taj Palace in the national capital.
And after a very short break, we'll be right back with a very important discussion going forward. Don't go anywhere. We'll just return.